How to look like that clean girl all the time.
This is exactly how to achieve the old money aesthetic.
If you want to be an it boy, if you want to be that guy.
Girl, let me tell you how to be that girl, like the it girl.
Her bitch my aesthetic, don't like it, then express it.
Is this really who they are? Like, is this their personality, or is this a curated aesthetic they're trying to live their life through? So, personality is a collection of characteristics a person embodies, right? A kaleidoscope of characteristics, if you will. It's a vibrant mix of qualities and quirks that shift and change with different situations. Now, aesthetics is centered around the concern of appeal, right? A curated collection of elements that form together a distinct and cohesive look or style. Now, see, we're in an era dominated by social media, right? Where visual storytelling reigns supreme. So, Gen Z right now is leading a cultural revolution, if you will, transforming the concept of aesthetics into a lifestyle and a statement of identity. Now, for Gen Z, for Gen Z, the aesthetics isn't just about looks. It's about creating a space where they feel seen, understood, and connected in a world that's crazy as hell. Now, as a member of Gen Z, I couldn't help but to highlight this. Because just how we go to McDonald's, we get fast food, and we know we're not going to get full off of the fast food, you know, this instant gratification Gen Z seeks through these curated aesthetics, the soft girl aesthetic, the bad bitch aesthetic, often provides fleeting pleasure, you know, ultimately leading into false hope and a deeper yearning for genuine fulfillment. You know, and this is something we see. This is why we see members of Gen Z that don't want to work. You know, they think everything is going to be handed to them. You know, this is what I hear older generations talk about. And this is something that's fascinating me because I am a member of Gen Z. I'm 20 years old. So being 20 and looking at this, and it has even had me looking at myself doing some introspection like, okay, is everything all right with you? Like, what's going on, you know? I think this idea of absolute excitement and 100% fulfillment with no need for compromise or dissatisfaction has set a flawed precedent in the dating life of Gen Z, and I fear will contribute to the lack of professionals in the future. We got to remember now, it takes 10 to 12 years to be a doctor. It takes 5 to 7 years to be a lawyer. It takes 10,000 hours to master something. Everything I just said is essential to society, right? If we have a generation that doesn't have the discipline to fulfill essential roles we need desperately people in this society, in this world, how will we prosper in the future? How are we supposed to grow? How are we supposed to have professionals in the future? You know, if we have a generation of women that won't acknowledge the much needed compromise in a relationship, whether it's a compromise with money, whether it's a compromise with time, whether it's a compromise with success, in any relationship, compromise is needed. That's just period, you know? But if the women of Gen Z won't acknowledge the need of compromise, right, and understand the concept, if they don't understand this concept, how do we move forward with society? Better yet, humanity. How? Can somebody please tell me? I mean, chat, talk to me in the comments. How? You know, it seems like a reality y'all hate to face, but it takes a man and a woman to have a baby. Now, that's no shade at gay people or trans people or none of that. That's just the truth. You know, it takes a man and a woman to have a baby. You know, especially if we want the baby to grow up in a family with a higher chance of success, you know. But just how a beat can be remixed, mixed and matched, and reproduced across countless genres. You know, shout out to Drake, shout out to all the rappers who done did it before, right? Gen Z's copy and paste behavior is shaping a culture where originality often takes a backseat to replication, impacting everything from fashion to the social interactions that we deal with on a day-to-day basis in Gen Z. You know, this is something that is, again, a problem because everybody wants to be the next person. You know, it was a time when I was growing up, I don't know about y'all, but me and my friends, we live by this culture. You know, it was a time where doing what the next person does, wearing what the next person wears, talking like them, walking like them was lame. That's just what it was. That's the truth. It was lame. But this copy and paste like behavior has become an issue amongst Gen Z. And it still is an issue, you know, and I spoke about this. Pay attention to the instant duplication of trends that occur. One guy gets on TikTok and get dreads. Every little boy in the projects want dreads. Every little boy in the streets want dreads. You know, even white kids is getting dreads. Now, what is up with that, you know? And it really speaks volume to the current lack of leadership and the future lack of leadership that we are expecting, you know? A prime example of this is the bad bitch aesthetic. You know, a bad bitch is not a girl that's going to school. It's not a girl that's a policy. It's not a girl that's an investment banker or associated with any form of prestige. Oh, no. It's a girl with a fake ass, fake lips, and a guy with a Rolex. And in all fairness, all beauty standards are kind of weird. Like when you guys say the lighter you are, the prettier you are. You know, the smaller you are, the prettier you are. You know, if we continue to set these extremely unrealistic benchmarks, it'll contribute to the delusional expectations not only women have for themselves, but men have for them. And again, how are we supposed to move forward with society if we keep living by these dumbass codes? And before the feminists start to cuss me out, because I know y'all are coming, because a lot of y'all was under my last video, and we're going to talk about my last video in a minute. But before the feminists start to cuss me out, men suffer from this too. You know, the men of Gen Z are contributed to the problem too. You know, just like how a ship will sink without a captain, the absence of strong male leadership is leaving Gen Z searching for direction and stability in an increasingly turbulent world, in a sense. You know, this world is crazy as hell. We all know this. If you grown and you paying rent, you paying bills, you know it doesn't stop for nobody. But how the lack of male leadership has affected Gen Z is something that needs to be studied, and I need y'all to really pay attention. Now, here's my thing about it all, right? The reason I talk about my community so much is because I love us. I love being black. I love everything about being black, from my hair to my feet. I love my culture. I love my people. I love our music. I think we're unique. I think we're special. I mean, we're global leaders in every aspect of culture. But the reason I talk about my community so much is because I care. You know, so I want to share some numbers with y'all, right? Okay, now studies show that African Americans suffer from father absence the most. Now let's take a look at what that means and the effect of father absence. Father absence causes mental health issues. Y'all don't even know this. This is why so many black men are suffering right now, including depression, anxiety, and most victims of suicide don't even have their dad. Now, recent studies show that black children ages 10 to 19 committing suicide has risen 60% over the past 2 decades. Now, I was born in 03. It's 2024. So it has risen 60% the decade before that. This is something that we got to talk about, y'all. Furthermore, let's just pay attention to the education, right? Fatherless children are twice as likely to drop out of school. Black children make up 28% of the illiterate population in the U.S. Now, if I just told y'all that I'm scared because what professionals are we going to have in the future, and black children are taking up 28% of the illiterate population, and on top of that, most black children are fatherless. How are we supposed to grow as a community, better yet a society? We need black professionals. Representation is a big thing, and it's something that is much needed in today's society. How are we supposed to get here? Come on now. Now, also, let's pay attention to the effect of father absence, right? Father absence actually plays a role in criminal activity, believe it or not. Studies show that your chances to come in contact with criminal activity increase. African Americans as a whole take up 14% of the population, but 34% of the prison population. You can't tell me that doesn't have anything to do with father absence, because it does. You know, I'm not a person that has the best relationship with my dad. I will never sit up here in front like I am, but I will say, I think seeing my dad home a lot, for some reason, made me not want to do a lot of the shit that I did. The reason why I keep bringing up black people is because we're hurting right now. The development of black youth is the cultivation of future leaders, innovators, change makers, and people who have the potential to change the world, right? Nurturing those seeds that will one day grow into a forest of resilience, wisdom, and brilliance. But the reality of it all is, this isn't just a black and white issue. The lack of male leadership is an issue that is prominent in most races, right? It is seen all across the world. I won't say it's the one and only reason, but it's definitely a #1 contributor to the lack of leadership in all communities, but especially the black community. Now, if you listen this far, your brain just took in a lot of information, but it doesn't have anywhere to apply to. So let's go back to the beginning, right? I started off talking about personality and aesthetics. Personality is something you can't control. Aesthetics is something you can control. You guys remember when growing up, we heard, you know, like, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. Remember growing up, your mama said, I brought you in this world, I will take your ass out. If you Dominican or Cuban, you heard, vives en esta casa, hace lo que yo digo. You know, my point is, growing up, when you are young or when you are part of the youth, you don't have much freedom over your life. So it's fair to say that most of us at some point will create an escape route. For some, it may have been an imaginary friend. For some, it may have been sports, right? Everybody wanted to be a basketball player when I was growing up. But for Gen Z, it's an aesthetic. And this aesthetic they're so desperately trying to make their life is leading them into a tunnel of disappointment and delusion, because it's not reality. You'll think shows like Baddies, you'll think shows like Love and Hip Hop, you'll think shows like the Kardashians, for example, will be showing reality, but that's just not the case. In fact, reality TV is indoctrinated Gen Z and giving them false hope. Expectation kills experience, and delusion is a substitute for faith. I'm gonna say that one more time for y'all now. Expectation kills experience, and delusion is a substitute for faith. Every experience is a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. Okay, now creating a masterpiece of memories or lessons and growth. You know, to have faith is to plant a seed of belief in the barren ground of uncertainty, trusting it will bloom in its own time. Right? So if we gain experience, live in our truth, and focus, we'll be unstoppable. It's time we as a generation focus, right? And accept that life is hard. It's not an aesthetic though. You know, it's time we acknowledge that we're in a perpetual world with perpetual problems and perpetual problems to come. But I truly believe Jehovah blessed us with the mind for a reason. You know, because whether you have Einstein's IQ or the IQ of an apple, you must know that you're not dumb. You just don't thrive in an aspect of life. You're not ugly. Somebody just don't think you cute. And listen, if you broke, welcome to the club. Anybody got EBT, please DM me now.